Right guys, welcome to a very short edition of Matt and Bear Outdoors. So if you've just seen my video on the Spyderco UK PK, I was having a rummage through the old box of blades that I keep in my gun safe, and I found one. I've not reviewed it for you. It's a very small one. It is, as you can tell from the box, very small. This is a Spyderco Ladybug in H1. So what is H1? H1 is a steel, proprietary steel from Spyderco, where they introduce nitrogen during the manufacturing process, which makes this steel rust proof essentially. Stainless steel has an element of rust protection on it. H1 steel is completely rust proof. This gets used a lot in marine environments. You'll see a lot of fishermen carrying Spyderco knives made with H1 steel. There are videos on the internet, I think Blade HQ in the States, they did a video where they actually buried one in a salt flat and they went and dug it up about a couple of weeks later. They wiped it clean, they ran it into the tap, and this blade was still absolutely immaculate after having been submerged in salt for a couple of weeks. So believe the hype. I was a bit dubious about it. You know, people say their products are rust resistant or, you know, will not rust and all this kind of stuff. So far this is the only knife I've found that has been completely and utterly rust proof. So what do you get? So you get a choice of edges. This is the Spyderco combo edge. So you've got the really aggressive cutting teeth on there. I went for the aggressive cutting teeth purely because this is a small blade and I need to get through material quickly, so I went for these teeth. So you can see it's ground very well, some really aggressive teeth. It's only ground on one side, you'll note from the back edge of the blade. It's not ground there. So it is a lockback, so even when it's tiny little size, it's illegal to carry in the UK without a good reason. Certainly if you're going kayaking, canoeing, that kind of thing, I would carry a salt around my neck just to sort of cut rope and free myself if I got tangled up in any webbing or anything falling upside down in the boat. I'd like to be able to slice myself free. Weighs next to nothing. You get this FRN, so fiberglass reinforced nylon on the handles with the bi-directional grip texture, so it's nice and grippy even with wet hands. One thing you might notice, if you can see just inside, there are no liners on the inside of the Salt Ladybug 3. One less thing to rust, and actually the FRN on this is particularly stiff, so it's fantastic. My cat's joined me in the garden. One thing people have noticed after submerging in salt for a while is the H1 may get a tiny little bit of rust in it. That's just from where the laser etching's been, left a little bit of debris. So you've got the back lock on there, and you can easily stick a lanyard, bang it around your neck. The blade length itself is 1 15/16 of an inch, so 49mm, just shy of 2 inches. So it's a very small little blade. It does cut. This is reasonably box fresh, and that's just a normal sheet of paper. So it's got the usual Spyderco sharpening, sharpened to a good edge. In terms of edge retention, I do know H1 steel does suffer a little bit with its longevity on its edge retention. You will find yourself sharpening H1 steel a little bit more frequently than VG10, which is the general standard for Spyderco knives for their sort of normal range, like your Enduras and Delicas and all the rest of it. If you don't mind sharpening that and you're quite happy to sharpen this combo edge, not an issue, just give it a little touch up now and again, job's good, and absolutely no rust whatsoever. Like I say, believe the hype. They're not cheap. I just checked online on my phone whilst I was getting the specs, and this is currently retailing for about £50 in the UK, so it's not a cheap investment at all. Having said that, if you want something that you can carry, leave it in your pocket, get it soaking wet, leave it in absolutely filthy minging conditions, and know that it's not going to corrode, yeah, that's where your money's gone. It's gone into a decent steel. It's not going to go manky and horrible in your pocket or in your canoe, all that kind of stuff. So definitely consider getting one. I'm going to bring out my Delica in a minute. You've probably all seen a Delica, but it's just one I found in my box. So bear with me and I'll see you very shortly. Hope you enjoyed.